Welcome to another episode of the Physically Jacked Financially Stacked podcast. Today, I'm going to teach you how to make more money. So if you have an online business in terms of coaching and consulting, this is something you are going to want to listen, save, and probably share with a friend. So make sure you have a pen and paper ready. So I actually did a training on our mastermind last night, 7-figure scaling systems, on what I call the rule of 100. Now, if you're in a position where you want to grow your online business, there's some very simple actions you need to do every day. Now, when we look at growing and scaling an online business, which I've done with 3 multiple 7-figure companies in the last 5 years. I used to be a real estate agent 5 years ago, which is a random story, back in Walton-on-Thames in Surrey for a company called Leaders. They were corporate and they were dog shit. It is what it is. Now, the reality is in terms of growing your online business, the rule of 100 is really simple. So what we're going to think about doing is what are the outputs in terms of what you do every day that drive the inputs into the business. So what do I mean by inputs? In terms of generating leads, generating calls, generating customers, aka making money. Because if you're not making sales, you don't have a business. Number one rule in business is making sales. So you can have the greatest fucking product in the world. If no one buys it, then it's completely pointless. And that's what I see happening a lot, in particular with online trainers. I've spoken to a few recently. They want to go on the world's most advanced biomechanics courses, yet they haven't got a single client yet. It's like, and it's also, their goal of their clients is to lose like body fat. So you don't need to be the world's number one expert in terms of muscular hypertrophy, because the reality is it's not what your clients want. So when it comes to rule of 100, there's 3 segments to this. Number one, so you want to do these every day. Firstly, it's doing 100 outbound messages every day. So you've got to message 100 people. And then you're like, Charlie, how the fuck do I message 100 people every day? This is actually really simple. It doesn't take that long. If you message one person a minute, that's 100 minutes of work. Cool. So that's the majority of your lead generation done. So how does that actually work in terms of a practical basis? And what platforms would you use? So one, you've got Instagram. So who are the best people for you to target on Instagram? Number one is the warmest audience you have. So I'd message every single person who follows your account. You should message. If you haven't done that, you probably want to stop this podcast and go do that right now. So I'd go through, message every single person with those, engage with them. Second thing is people who like and engage with your content. They've obviously resonated with something you've said. They're probably interested in your product or service. Now, the next thing after that I'd recommend you do is you then look at people who are viewing your stories. Though people who are at the very top of your stories are probably going to be the warmest people who come in and view stuff the most frequently. So if you post a story, like within 5 minutes, you've got X amount of story viewers, the people at the top are probably going to be your warmest audience. So make sure you're all over those people. Now, when we come away from the rule of 100 from Instagram, we've got a couple other platforms. So something that's super hot right now is Facebook and a personal page on Facebook. So what you would want to do with your Facebook personal page is start adding people who are your ICA, ideal client avatar, and then send them messages. Now, all we want to do in terms of the 100 message day is create conversations. Now, the method we teach at 7-figure scaling systems is just creating conversations to create calls to create clients. It's a very, very simple process that isn't complicated. Now, third platform we want to use, LinkedIn. Now, people say LinkedIn doesn't work. Well, it doesn't work because you don't know how to get it to work, is the reality of that. Now, LinkedIn is a phenomenal platform, and the user base, I think, has doubled in the last 12 months. Now, why it's such a good platform is the average user on LinkedIn earns $150,000 to $200,000 a year. So, if you're an online fitness coach and you're in the position where you're looking to try and sell high-ticket coaching, which is what we teach, so programs from $2,000 to $5,000, what you want to focus on doing is this: targeting people who actually can afford your services. I speak to people all the time. I spoke to someone on Sunday. They're like, I target tech executives in the US and Canada who are 35, and I target them on Facebook and Instagram. I was like, okay, cool. Do you think a busy CEO of a tech company is sitting on Instagram and Facebook all day long? Probably fucking not. So the reality is, if you go to LinkedIn, you can specifically actually search people by job title, industry, and really hone down like a sniper rifle of who you want, rather than trying to use like a Gatling gun, which is what most people are doing on the other platforms. Now, LinkedIn is a difficult platform to convert. The reality is why it's difficult is you can't just copy and paste and spam messages. What you need to focus on doing is crafting bespoke and custom messages. So there's a couple of different ways you can do this. One would just be going through their profile, finding something that's relevant in terms of, like I looked at someone's yesterday, he put up a post about HMRC and some bullshit about them increasing taxes, which is obviously standard for the UK. So what I would do is I would message and be like, hey Steve, I saw your post about HMRC, that really resonated. What do you think they'll do next? ? Something like that. Guy was obviously pissed because he saw whatever was going on in the tax situation. I would probably bet everything I have he replies to that message, because it's not a sales pitch. He's creating a genuine conversation. Now, when he's replied, guess what? We have a conversation. If you're messaging someone and they don't reply, that's not a conversation. So once we've got them into reply, we can then try and get them into a sales consultation by being pretty direct in terms of what we're doing from there onwards. But we need to start an initial conversation. The next thing I'd focus on doing from then is you can also send what I call like sniper messages. So you can make Loom videos bespoke on people's profiles and send them a direct message, which is a video being like, hey Charlie, this is what I do, this is how I help people. Just looking through your profile, I think you might be a good fit. That type of thing comes across really well. It's very, very, very personalized. And what you need to think about is you don't need huge numbers of people coming from LinkedIn. You just need the right people and the right clients at the right price to have a highly effective coaching business, and that's what we teach. Other platforms we can use in terms of messaging is like things like TikTok you can do some messaging on, but the quality of the leads is pretty ropey, so it's not necessarily something I'd recommend. But what you also have is your phone. I can guarantee you right now you probably have hundreds of contacts in WhatsApp. Guess what? They probably already know, like, and trust you. Have you asked them if you can help them get in shape for the summer? Reality is probably not. So that's probably a gold mine of untapped potential that you can go through, as well as possibly old email contacts and things like that. So the rule of 100, segment 1, is 100 outbound messages a day. Number 2 is 100 minutes per day making content. The reality is people can't give you their money if they don't know who you are. So the number one thing that's most important is actually getting traffic, because people can't buy from you if you don't know you. That's just a fact. So what we want to focus on doing is getting more people to know you. So the type of content you want to make is like this. You're making educational content with utility. So you teach something that someone can practically implement and like, holy shit, this is good. Like, this is what the free stuff's like. I wonder what the paid mastermind fitness program, business consulting, whatever it is like. And that's what you want to focus on doing. You spend 100 outbound messages a day, 100 minutes making content. And in terms of content you make, what I'd recommend is you do a couple of different things. One, you focus on creating viral short form content that can get maximum reach. Because something like a podcast or YouTube video like this, if people don't know who you are, it's going to get fuck all reach or downloads because it's not particularly searchable. So what you want to focus on doing is making short form content that gets a lot of traffic. Now, you may well be asking how to do that. Well, here's a really easy hack. I don't like the app TikTok, but if you go into TikTok and let's say I want to make fat loss content for men. If I search in TikTok, how to lose fat for men, click on the filters, put last month most liked, and then look through the content, it will come up with what's currently trending in terms of that type of content. Guess what? That's probably the type of content you should make. Look for the highest performing videos, replicate them in your own style. Don't copy them completely, but get a gist of what's working. If you do that, you will get more reach, more traffic, and your audiences will start to grow. And this is one of the key things we help clients with when they come to us, is helping build up their social media profile so they have the authority to do this. Now, when you've got the short form content starting to create more traffic, you can then start to create longer form content that's then going to really pull people in. Because what you almost want to think about is that you almost have a thermostat with people, and you need to like warm them up to the point where they know, like, and trust you. So long form content works really, really well with that. And when you're making long form content like a video podcast like this, if you check out a software system called Video.AI, I can upload this video into that. It will cut 20, 30 short form pieces of content out of that for me, which I can put onto YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, TikTok, Snapchat, wherever I wanted, and then really blast that across the internet. And it's a really easy concept you can use to have what I call omnipresence. So that's where you're in all places at all times. And that's the reality. What you want is that you want to be the first person people think of when it comes to whatever you do. So whether it's selling houses, whether it's getting people in the best shape of life, that's really what the key to get you success. So actually spend time crafting, creating content that works. The most important place where I think a lot of people go wrong with this is, one, they don't fucking do it. Number two is they don't actually put any planning in terms of the type of content that's going to work. So think about what's going to get you the most traffic and just don't make stuff for the sake of it. The third one I say is if you think about, if you're making longer form content, like YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world, which is owned by the biggest search engine in the world, which is Google. So if you make everything which is longer form, generally like how to X, it's going to be searchable because people search for how to generate fitness clients, things like that. Really, really simple. Third part of the rule of 100 is spending $100 a day on traffic or ads. Now, That's obviously budget dependent. If you have a lot more money, you can spend more. If you don't have the money, you can spend less. But let me explain why. The golden rule is getting traffic. So you have to get more people into your ecosystem. And cold traffic is going to be effective if you have proof of concept in terms of your program. So I'll give an example. We have a post we're boosting on Instagram at the moment that's getting followers in the US and Canada who are men 30 to 45 for 21 cents. I know that, bear in mind, we sell fitness programs for between $2,000 to $10,000, that for me to get people following me for 21 cents that we can then message and warm up, there's no way that's not going to make money, or at least be profitable. It's basically physically impossible, unless we were really shit at what we do, which we're not. So what you want to focus on doing is how can I generate and pull more traffic in? And social media platforms are going very much this way, where it's going to start to be more of a pay to play. If you look at, I think they've seen people like the Kardashians and stuff like that becoming billionaires because of these huge social media followings they built for free on things like Instagram. That's why they're starting to cut people's reach, and they're starting to charge basically to get more eyeballs, which is obviously a business decision from them. So in terms of what I would do in terms of traffic, a couple of different things. One, I would boost Instagram Reels or content that has a call to action, giving away something for free to get people to engage with the content you boost. So when they engage with you, you can message them, give them the free guide, or free whatever it is, and then you've got them into a conversation, then we can try and get them into a call to become a client. The second thing I would do after that is then boost content to get followers. So what type of content would you boost? I would boost the most viral content you have, because that's what's going to get you the most followers. Third thing is something called shout-outs on Instagram. So you can basically pay other big accounts in your niche to post and share your content and basically drive that traffic back to you by having your username in the the caption. So I was doing this for many, many years. It's not as effective as it used to be because the reach is down on the platform just generally. However, it does still work. And the advantage of it is you can post whatever you want, providing the page will let you. So on Instagram and Facebook, you can't run transformations of before and after photos as ads. However, on these pages, you can do. So if you've got sick results, you can push that out all day long in terms of like Instagram pages. At one point, we were spending like 15, 20K a month on this. And it was really, really honing in. And we actually tested last month not spending any. The issue with shout-outs is it's quite difficult to track. We have got a tracking system in place, but there's so many variables in play, it's not going to be 100%. And that's where I'd say you should be putting some money into traffic and reach, because building your audience is going to build your authority and give you more people coming into that pipeline to sell. So those are a couple of different options. Now, if we were looking to try and run traffic direct to sales, this is something we kill it with. So I think last month we made about 20K profit on our ads, and we weren't even really trying to scale them. So what we do is we recommend sending very direct messenger ads. So two clients in particular, we did this with in the mastermind last month. So Aiden, who runs our ads, set them up for him. One's client, Dylan, in California. So I think he got a 10x ROAS. He spent $1,000, made 10K back. Another one is Lidor, I think spent in Israel, spent $300 and got 3.5K back. Now, the reality is with cold ads, you can be targeted into who you want the traffic, and you can pull those people into your audience. Now, they might not buy right away, but guess what? One of the best things that is an untrackable ROI on ads is people see your fucking name everywhere. Like, people see our ads all the time. I think at one point I was running so many ads in Dubai, I think more than the population of Dubai had seen my ads. Like, probably a lot of them were obviously the same people over and again, but I think we'd had like 5 million unique reach, which is insane. So one of the key things you want to think about is like keep pushing these things out. And I actually remember last summer sitting in a coffee shop and like some woman came up to me, but I was messaging you about XY ad. And I was like, oh yeah, cool. And that's the reality, is when people see this stuff all the time, you're like front of face, and it's that omnipresence thing. Now, when it comes to ads, if you're running cold traffic ads, the icing on the cake you want to incorporate with this as well is what's called a retargeting ad. So a retargeting ad, you can target people who are like a warm audience. So they've come onto your social media profiles, liked, engaged, commented, or they've maybe visited your website and not purchased anything. So this is the real low-hanging fruit that's super profitable. So that's the final part of the rule of 100. If you do these three things every day and you do them correctly, your business will grow. The reality of why it won't happen is most people will do it for 5 days, 7 days, and then they stop. If you do that for 30 days solid and focus on it and actually plan properly, you will see big increases in what you're doing right now. And I'm a big believer in Grant Cardone. He talks about 10xing stuff. The reality is people just don't do enough actions to get enough results. Like, everyone's seen the analogy of like the gold miners digging and they give up just before they get to the gold, and that's what most people do because they don't have the resilience or the patience to keep going. They try something for a week and like, oh fuck it, it doesn't work. And the reality is you just need to be persistent, in particular when you're selling something like high ticket fitness coaching, because for most people you only need a couple of sales a month and you do really, really well. So I hope this is helpful. In your position where you're looking for more advice in terms of how to take your business to the next level and you're not sure what to do next, then drop me a message with the word scale on my main Instagram, which is @CharlieJohnsonFitness. If you enjoyed the podcast and you found a lot of value in this, please make sure you subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. Share it to a friend. And if you're watching us on YouTube, like and subscribe. And we'll see you next episode very soon.